One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
And welcome back from the weekend. Welcome into the One Mic with Big Mike show. I am, of course, your host, Big Mike, coming to you live on Spreaker.com, also the Spreaker app. Tune in as well as the One Mic with Big Mike.com website. Again, that's Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. If you miss any of this show, if you tune in late or you want to check out some previous episodes, all shows can be heard on demand on all of the platforms I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Get in contact with me via the Facebook Live feed. You can leave your comments and questions right below, or you can jump on inside my live interactive chat room. You have to be listening to the show via Spreaker, or download that Spreaker app from your app store. Sign up for your free Spreaker account as well. Do that. And make sure you follow the One Mic with Big Mike show. Once you start listening, you'll see a little thought bubble icon right there on the streaming player to get you inside the live interactive chat room. That thought bubble is also available on the streaming player if you're listening to the show on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You can also text me at 404-902-8104. That's 404-902-8104. Or, I've already mentioned all three. Leave your comments below the video. Jump inside the live interactive chat room or text me. All right. Welcome back from the weekend. Like I said earlier, weekend here in A was a very beautiful weekend outside. I got a chance to go around, riding around. My old lady was out of town for a couple of days, so I was here at the crib eating a bunch of fried food and doing a bunch of other stuff that will not get mentioned here on the show. And here we're back, and here we are. We're back to talking sports here on Monday. Not a whole lot to talk about, but the things that there are to talk about, we can kind of get some depth out of them. Bottom of the hour, 7:30. I'll be joined by a young lady named Danielle Slaton. Who is Danielle Slaton? She's the director of the Jerry Smith Coaching for Life Academy. That's one of the things she is. She's also a a silver medalist and a bronze medalist for the U.S. women's national team soccer player. She's a broadcaster, an educator, an activist. So I'm going to talk to her about all of those things, especially the activist angle. She's doing some things with some kids out in California, kind of getting them ready for the next evolution of what it is to be an activist in America. So I felt like she'd be a good person to talk to. We'll talk to her about all this Kaepernick stuff. We'll talk to her about what she's got going on. We'll talk to her about what's going on with soccer. FIFA is taking bids for the 2026 World Cup, and the U.S. is involved in like a conglomerate with Mexico and Canada. So it's going to be like a whole North American situation. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I'm sure she can give us some insights on that vis-a-vis her expertise. The big talk today, right? The big talk today has been all about the MVP stuff. That boy Russ did that Russ stuff yesterday. Russell Westbrook had 50. Another triple dub, gave him 42 for the season, so he's passed Oscar Robertson. But we'll dig a little bit deeper into what all this means, because there's still a little bit of I don't want to call it controversy, but consternation as to who is the National Basketball Association's 2017 most valuable player. So we'll dig into that a little bit. I got to talk about what happened yesterday and what happened Friday. The city of Atlanta was a little bit of buzz. The Hawks gave two pretty decent ass kickings to last year's champions, the Cleveland Cavaliers. But a lot of other stuff happened too that I wasn't really fond of. So I definitely want to talk about that and share my shame with you. The NFL. We already know that They're moving to Vegas. They're moving one of the teams to Vegas. The Raiders are moving there. But apparently you still can't go to Vegas and have no fun and do no charity events and any of those type of things. I'll get into it as we move on. And, of course, the Masters. The Masters. That happened. I know no one saw it. The ratings sucked, from what I understand, and no one cared, including me. But, there are some things to kind of get into and have some fun with along those lines. And I can't believe y'all let me forget to get into this Chris Carter madness on Friday. While I was like a DJ taking requests for topics, and y'all didn't even bring up this Chris Carter stuff that he said about Colin Kaepernick. So I'll, take that, rewind it back for today, Monday, April 10th. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. We're going to talk NBA, we're going to talk NFL, all these things. Don't forget, at the top of the next hour, of course, we'll get into this these historical facts for the day. I call it On This Day. I give it to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Okay, so let's start. Oh, also, that's why I write stuff down, because I'll forget. Steve Silver, my man from LegalBlitz.com, he'll join me on Wednesday. We'll talk about a lot about the litigations that are going on in the world of sports. You got Aaron Hernandez, the NFL still dealing with their stuff. The NCAA still dealing with stuff as far as litigation is going. Thabo Cephalosha just reeled in $4 million from New York City's the police department. And my question about that is going to be, like, I wonder, could he defer? Like, not take the money from the taxpayers, because he's an NBA player. He got some bread. And I ain't trying to be in that man's pockets, but he got some bread, and put the burden directly on the officer that broke his leg. So I'm gonna ask my man Steve Silver about that on Wednesday. And make sure you're listening at 8:00, because if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE, and also on Facebook, my Facebook page. You know that I'm giving away some Atlanta Hawks lids. Some new era like the one I'm wearing right now. Not this one. This is mine. You, my brother, got to get your own. So at 8:00, I'll tell you how you can win them free of charge. I'll get the winners and I'll send them out to you. You'll be in the building for the playoffs if the Hawks last long enough. You know what I mean? And based on the last couple of weeks, they look like they're primed for a playoff victory, but who knows? Also, the other big story, I guess, that's going on right now, another story I don't really care about. The Cubs they're raising the banner today for the World Series. Like, look, I already saw the history made. I'm good. I saw what happened. I was glad to be able to witness it, but now I'm kind of moving on. I'm on to the next now. Now it's this season, and wake me up around, Labor Day? Wake me up around Labor Day. Because when the baseball games really count, 160 is just way too many for me to pay attention now, as people will be talking about who's in first place. I don't care. Doesn't matter. You got a million more to go. All right. So let's settle in real quick, and let's talk NBA. Let's talk MVP. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. My man Russ Westbrook. Still, he's doing this thing. I don't even know what the stat line is. I just know it was a triple-double. I know he got 50. He dropped 50 on somebody yesterday on the Denver Nuggets, knocking them out the playoffs, and passed Oscar Robertson with 42 triple-doubles throughout the season. And I don't know if you guys notice this type of stuff, but I definitely do. I definitely take notice to this type of stuff, that Russell Westbrook is going to win the MVP. And I don't know that necessarily he deserves it over James Harden or vice versa or Kawhi Leonard. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think the title of the award at this point is they only continue to keep that title so that idiots can get on Facebook and social media and be on TV debating on what it actually is. This award doesn't go to the most valuable player most of the time. It doesn't. It goes to the best player. It goes to the guy who had the most outstanding season. It doesn't go to the most valuable player, because usually in the NBA that designation is set aside for really one person in the era, one or two people in the era. You know what I mean? Wilt, and then Kareem, and then you had Magic and Bird, and you had MJ. Now you got LeBron. You had Kobe and Shaq, and you had like certain select guys are hella valuable, not just to their teams, but to the entire league. So this award isn't for that. This award should be like the NCAA. They give out an MOP, most outstanding player. That's what it is, the most outstanding player who had the most outstanding season. And for a lot of people's money, especially the heads at ESPN, you can tell they're pushing that narrative, that Russell Westbrook thing. They putting highlight packages together. Like James Harden got crazy highlights too, by the way, if you've been watching basketball. And I know a lot of you told me early in the season you don't watch basketball until the playoffs, which, by the way, 1 week away, Saturday. We're going to get busy. Playoff basketball, man. Let's crank this thing up. Like I said, I know a lot of you guys don't pay attention, but James Harden been getting busy. Like he had a bunch of, I think he had like 2 back-to-back 50-point triple-doubles. Now, Russ got 3 for the season. That's the most that's ever been put together like that. But I don't think you can really discount that. And like he came out today and said he and I think Daryl Morey, is he the GM or the president of the Houston Rockets? Either way, they questioned the validity of of kind of eliminating wins from the equation when it comes to voting or choosing a most valuable player. And it serves the reason they would say that because, of course, the Houston Rockets have a better record than Oklahoma City Thunder. And 2 years ago, when James Harden won the Players MVP and didn't win the presses, the AP most valuable player, the argument was made that Steph Curry was on a better team. He was on a championship level team and James Harden wasn't. So now he's making the same argument that was made against him. Only problem is that we're talking about history and people get real goo gaga over history and they don't really, and a lot of things get kind of blown out of proportion and they get taken out of, they don't get put in the proper context. And as soon as somebody mentions advanced analytics or people start to get deeper into or get out of like the surface numbers that you know about the points, you know about the rebounds, you know about the assists. But what you may be failing to zoom in on is the way these things are attained. And I told you guys last week that there is a stat that's called an unassisted rebound. And where I was wrong in my assessment, I was talking about how Russell Westbrook has like 2.5 more rebounds per game than James Harden. That's the difference between James Harden averaging a triple-double and not him averaging a triple-double because his numbers are what they are. But that's the difference in Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double and James Harden not. And then on probably maybe Friday or Saturday, I actually saw the breakdown of these unassisted rebounds. And basically what it is, I can paint you guys a picture better than I can tell you what the unassisted rebound looks like as far as in Russell Westbrook's case. Take a free throw situation. Now, free throw situation, we're used to seeing what? We're used to seeing the guards above the circle, right? Oklahoma City puts their point guard on the line as a rebounder. And subsequently, the shot goes up, shots missed. What happens is, let's say Enes Kanter and Steven Adams. They block their men out, and then they allow Russell Westbrook to just sneak in and gather the rebound without uncontested. That's why it's called an uncontested rebound. And what I said last week, I was like, he get about two to 3 of those a game. Nope, I was wrong. That dude gets 5 of those a game. He averages 5 of those a game, which again, now you have to put got to put into your mind how much of the triple double is actually him, how much of it is his teammates. Like after the ball gets rolling and his teammates understand that, look, I'm Steven Adams. I'm Enes Kanter. I'm Victor Oladipo. What's the other kid's name? Roberson. These are nobody dudes, right? These are pretty much C-level talent basketball players. Then you got this one alpha, this one A basketball player who has an opportunity at around 30, 40 games in to do something real, real special. And then you figure you can do this thing to help him do it. It doesn't hurt the team any. As a matter of fact, it may help the team. It's a kindred thing to Draymond getting the ball off the rim and starting the break, and in actuality becoming the point guard in that scenario. Russell Westbrook is actually the point guard though, so him getting the rebound and doesn't have to go into somebody else's hands, then outlet to Russell Westbrook. It kind of helps the team get into their offense earlier. So there's no harm, no foul until you start talking about these little minute differences between Russell Westbrook becoming an MVP and James Harden once again being the bridesmaid, never the bride. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, I don't make any type of predictions on these things. I think predictions are stupid in these matters because nor you or I have any control of whether it happens. Like, I don't have a vote. And then also, I had to ask to do today. Somebody put on Twitter or on Facebook, I wish they'd hurry up with this MVP announcement. And I was like, why? Are you getting a portion of the bonus money these cats get? Like, they can take all the time they want to. And you still not going to know till after the season, to this award show thing they do now, because that's where they're going to do it at now. So you still got to wait. And you know what? That's fine by me. That's absolutely fine by me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like I said last week, I don't think James Harden is a better player this year. Maybe he may be more dedicated or whatnot to the craft, but his skill, the skill that he puts on the basketball court, is the same skills he was putting on the basketball court last year. Same with Russell Westbrook. Now we start talking about opportunity to do more. Now, Russ, like I say, he's an alpha on the floor. Him and James Harden. They got two alphas on the floor with a bunch of B. I'll call Trevor Ariza a B minus and C players. So no one's there to challenge you on shot selection or any of those things. Case in point. And you guys know I don't really do the stats thing a lot. This is probably as statty as I'll get. Russell Westbrook, in a year without Kevin Durant, took about 1,000 more shots. Took like 1,000 more shots than the next guy on the list. Now, what does that mean? That means he got a crazy usage rate. The ball is always on his hand, and essentially everybody else's shot is either coming from him or he's taking the shot. Like the shot he made last night, that 30-footer was crazy, bananas. It's like it's like akin to a Heisman moment in college football. It's so bananas. It's so crazy. They had to come back. His 40-second triple-double. They got the win. Like everything was packaged so nicely for that moment. You know what I mean? Now, on the other hand, what kind of gets lost, I think the Rockets took on the Kings yesterday. James Harden scored or assisted on 72 of the Rockets' points, man. And that just kind of gets lost in the wash. And part of the reason is what I mentioned earlier. ESPN has already made the decision for everyone. Russell Westbrook is this year's MVP. Period. It's kind of like what they said the Russians did with Trump. They just keep putting it in your face and putting the highlights in your face and part of that reason to me is because they've been pushing that Russ versus KD narrative for an entire season as well. They've been jamming that down your throat and then, trying to make KD the villain and Russ the good guy. And now you got this storybook ending, everyone thought it was over in OKC, including me. Like I think my comment was, now Oklahoma City will become Oklahoma City. Like there's no reason for them to be good. There's no reason for Oklahoma City to be good outside the fact that, what's the guy's name? Is it Sam Presti? That the guy that runs the Thunder? Outside the fact that he was able to draft, think about this, one MVP in Kevin Durant. One of these two dudes is going to win the MVP. So that's the second MVP. Now Harden is either going to be runner-up MVP this year, again, which would make him a two-time runner-up MVP and a one-time players MVP. So you can make the argument that this dude in 2 years drafted 3 MVPs. Where they do that at? That's why Oklahoma City was and became this thing. But I felt like as soon as when KD left, I was like, yep, Russ is next. He's out of here next year, B. And he signed that little extension. It was a little extension, too, by the way, 2 years. So he basically added a year. And he could still be out of here after next year. Or out of there. I'm not in Oklahoma City. He could be out of there after next year. And, you talking about people being crushed. And you talk about a narrative being changed from this heroic Michael Jordan and all these old players come out here, how loyal Russell Westbrook is. Yeah, like, that's probably the worst word in sports now. You know what I mean? Like, now, in 2017, there is no loyalty. You got whole teams leaving cities, much less players. The loyalty is to the money. And with it being so much, what did I read the other day? The salary cap is going up, not as much as they thought it would be, but it's going up again. These TV deals is fat. Guys like Chandler Parsons getting crazy money. Here in Atlanta, Kent Bazemore cashed in. Feel me? And I asked this question yesterday about him, and I'll get back to this MVP stuff here in just a second. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Live right now on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, also on the Spreaker app, so make sure you get that for all your mobile devices. If you got the TuneIn app, I'm there as well. And, of course, the One Mic with BigMike.com website. Make sure you're listening at 8 o'clock. Reggie, don't let me forget. What up, Reg? Reg is in the chat room. You guys can join them in the chat room as well. Just go to Spreaker.com or download that Spreaker app or check out my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Click that little thought bubble icon you see dancing right there on the screen. It'll get you inside this live interactive chat room where you can holler at your boy. You can also text me at 404-902-8104 or leave your comments and questions right here below my live streaming video on Facebook. The page is at One Mic with Big Mike. Now, I asked this question yesterday about Kent Bazemore. Also, Reggie, don't let me forget about the hat. I got to tell people how they can win these hats. Can y'all see those hats behind me? Is that a thing y'all can do? Let me pull up the screen real quick so I can make sure y'all can. I tried to product place them behind. There they go. Oh, there they go. Can you see them right there? Like right there behind the mic or right there? Yeah, there they go. Still in the plastic, brand new. Feel me? Atlanta Hawks hat. I don't care if you're not an Atlanta Hawks fan. I'm in Atlanta. Feel me? They're gonna be in the playoffs for the 20th straight time, and I'll get into more of that. My city, man. Come on, man. We got to be better. For real. But anyway, Kent Bazemore got paid money, right? And it's surprising that people here haven't really said much about it. Like, there's usually a big, to-do when, average dudes get money and, his starting job got taken. A dude that was in the D-League a couple times last year, Tim Hardaway Jr., who has been killing it. But nonetheless, Kent Bazemore got, crazy money. And I'm not that dude. Get it where you can. Nobody's gonna ever have to twist my arm and take no money. But usually here in the city of Atlanta, that's a big deal. I watched Joe Johnson get crushed, man, for years for simply getting paid money more than people thought he should. But it doesn't matter what you think. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're worth what somebody who can pay you that much is willing to pay you, if they're willing to pay you that much. And he was. So it's just weird to me. I guess people like Kent Bazemore. And that's what it usually boils down to with these type of things, does it not? If you like the person, you can justify it. My man Matt Herndon, I think he's at East Point Made Me on Twitter if you want to follow him. He's a pretty decent follow too. He said to me yesterday when I asked the question, he was like, as long as Kent Bazemore continues to be a defensive stopper, and he made a defensive play yesterday in that game, I can justify the payment. I was like, that's crazy. A dude that does one thing, he got $73 million. And I'm only saying this based on the attitude that has preceded Kent Bazemore. I don't care. If people who can get money, because I want to be that dude in that position at some point. The dude that has other people saying, I can't believe Mike making all that money. Yeah, I can. Or maybe I can't, but it doesn't matter if I believe it or not. It's happening. I want to be that dude, so I never come down on them cats. You feel me? But that just seemed weird to me. Getting back to this MVP conversation, and now we'll wrap and then get my guest Danielle Slaton. I realized too, I hadn't had too many young ladies on the show. It's been a very disproportionate, American type, 80 cents on the dollar type situation with me, man. I gotta do better. I talked to the ladies from Girl Chat Sports a couple of weeks ago, but that was kind of me being on their show. Also, man, you guys can catch me tomorrow on the Sean Stewart show. This brother hit me up, told him I'd do the show tomorrow with him. I'll try to get the information, all of it, before the end of the show, tell you guys where to go. I guess you may be able to just Google it too. Use the Google machine. What a Sean Stewart radio show or Sean Stewart podcast or something like that. But I'll be hanging out with him tomorrow at, I think, 6:20. I think it's 6:20. I'll go at 6:20. Any objections? 6:20 it is. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but, you know, I'll make something up if nothing comes to mind. He better not ask me about the Masters, though, because that's going to get uncomfortable. Not for me, because I can talk about racist crap all day long. Anyway, so the whole thing now boils down to what people value. And I think the voters, as speaking for the voters if I can, it's going to be too much pressure on the fact that Russell Westbrook has broken this record. No one cares how it was done. No one cares. It takes a D-bag like me to bring stuff like that. Why you want to rain on the parade? I'm not doing that. Shout out to Russ, man. I think I enjoy that dude playing. But like I told y'all last week, I don't care about these guys winning these awards because I don't get no cut from it. And also, I recognize that they both ball. Like, I get what I came for out of the deal. I get to be entertained. They're going to meet in the playoffs. Awesome. Again. You know what I mean? I get to see two dudes who get crazy buckets go for maybe 6 games. I don't think Russ got it in him to beat one team. Even go 7 games against one team. Even a team like the Rockets who don't play much defense. If I can real quick, give you guys the playoff picture, and then we'll take this break and get the great Danielle Slaton on. Yes, great. She's a champ. She's a champion, like a national champ. She's got freaking medals. Yeah, I call that great. Hell, why not? She coached at Northwestern, coach soccer, mentors kids, goes around the world mentoring kids. I call that great. I don't use the word lightly. So, all right. So Denver got eliminated yesterday when Russ hit that shot right. So that means Portland is in. San Antonio is going to face Memphis. That should be a cool little matchup because of just stylistically, it's going to be tough and rugged. I mentioned already Houston and Oklahoma City. The Clippers and the Jazz. Remember I said this last week. Look out for that Jazz squad because I know a lot of y'all ain't been paying attention to them. But the Jazz, they do work, especially defensively. They do work, and they could be a problem for the Clippers, especially if they get home court advantage. We got another couple of games for that to be decided, whether the Clippers are 4 or the Jazz are 4 and the other team is 5 or vice versa. The Cavs, of course, are tied with the Celtics. We'll talk after I talk to my guests. I'll share my shame with you at the top of next hour. As you know, it's like that twisted kind of shame where you're kind of proud, but also you shouldn't be. I mean, you shouldn't be really that much so. So the Cavs, after losing 2 games in the last 72 hours to the Atlanta Hawks, are tied for first in the East. They're going to rest everybody tonight, by the way. Tyronn Lue, tired of that crap. And he made up a bunch of bullcrap lies about why people need to rest today. So they got 2 games remaining. Cleveland holds the tiebreaker. The Celtics need to win out and hope the Cavs lose at least 1 game, which may be tonight. The Celtics got, what do they got? They got Brooklyn and Milwaukee left. The Cavs have Miami tonight and then Toronto. Both losable games, as a matter of fact. The Raptors can finish no lower than 3rd, but they can get into that second space. What is it? Second seed. That's what I'm trying to say. Second seed. If Boston loses its final 2 games and Toronto wins its last 2 games. Atlanta's right where they're going to be at. They're kind of just in this little duel with Milwaukee. Again, 4-5 matchup. Atlanta's probably going to need home court advantage to beat that young Milwaukee squad. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. And what else we got? Washington, 4th place in the East. So they're going to have home court advantage at least in the first round for the Washington Wizards. And that is your NBA playoff lineup as is. Now, a couple of things, like I mentioned, will change based on some wins and losses throughout the season. But we got the teams at least. We know who's in and we know who we're going to see. And I'm anticipating some good basketball. Damn Charles Barkley. Damn like T-Mac and all these people. Oh, the league is so terrible now. It's not. Dudes is getting buckets, cuz. Straight real buckets, too. KD came back. We'll talk about that a little while later. But let's take a break right now. I got to get Danielle Slaton on the line. She's an activist. She's an educator. She's a champion. She's a medalist, a U.S. women's national team medalist, all those things. And we're going to talk about some activism and feminism and things of that nature. So we'll do it next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 p.m. on Spreaker, the Spreaker app, tune in, and, of course, onemicwithbigmike.com.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what living united feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Long before they won a World Series championship, but it was painful for a few years. But I'm happy to cheer them on as they have some success, and I think it's opening day today for them, so it's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, at home. I told you I wanted to have you on to talk about activism. But then when I started reading about you and everything that you went through, you are the perfect person to answer a question for me as it relates to the U.S. women's national team. I was having this conversation some months ago. While I don't know if it's even still going on, the wage scale thing and the way that the women are being treated, they're being made to play on turf and stay in crazy accommodations. They don't get the same per diem for food and all that kind of stuff. And okay, first a couple of questions: is women's soccer in the United States more popular than male soccer?
I would say
you can be honest.
That's a tough question. No, I'm always honest
because I heard it was.
Well, I would say if you're comparing the two national team program.
Right.
There is certainly more energy around the women's team, and I think just because we've had more success on the world stage in terms of winning World Cups and Olympics. But when you're talking about professional soccer, you look at the MLS, and there's really the NWSL, which stands for the National Women's Soccer League. You try to compare those two leagues, and MLS is far and away, above what the women are doing on the professional side. So,
okay, no, I meant the national teams, because the national teams, they're Hope Solo and those girls. Those are the. Is it offensive if I say girls? Because I say that a lot. Is that offensive?
I don't take it that way.
Thank you.
It doesn't bother me. I'm sure you have a couple people who would say, "Come on now, Big Mike, we're women."
I've heard all that. I've heard don't call us ladies.
Okay
I've heard all of, and I'm the worst person when it comes to PC stuff.
To me, I would say the only thing is if you call it men and you call it girls, then that doesn't feel the same to me. That's
I do that because I don't say boys.
Okay.
I'll stop immediately. Well. All right. So here is the underlying question. When I heard about all the stuff going on with the wages and everything, I said to myself, okay, the women's national team is more popular. They win more. They get paid less. They have to deal with other crazy sexist stuff. And I asked the question, well, why the hell are they asking for equal pay? Like, that's not America. If you're more popular and you win more, shouldn't you ask for more money? And then someone said this to me, because women aren't greedy like that. I was like, that's a crazy excuse. We're talking business. We're not talking about greed. We're talking about value, are we not? And so my question to you is, why ask for equal pay and instead of saying, no, we want more. We want our pay to reflect what we produce?
Well, I mean, I guess my answer to that would be that, I don't think that what you produce in terms of results and winning determines your pay. If I have a great day at work today, does that mean that I should get paid more today and then tomorrow I should get paid less? I don't know if it would fluctuate like that in sports to me. So my instinct is not so much get paid more because they win more or they're more successful, but just get paid what you deserve.
Yeah, exactly.
And get paid what is, to me, what I look at as equitable. So to me, I think being a professional and showing up on the field every day and performing and doing your job, regardless of whether you win or less, more or less. I mean, you could talk about bonuses and getting more in bonuses and stuff like that. Sure, I'm willing to have that conversation. But to me, it's if you're being asked to be a professional by putting on the U.S. national team jersey, whether it's male or female, to me, that needs to be equitable.
The other voice that you're hearing is Danielle Slaton. She's a champion. She's a medalist with the U.S. Women's national team. She's also coached at the college level, at the professional level too. Did you coach at the professional level as well?
Nope, just at college. Yes,
okay.
Just at Northwestern University.
She played at the professional level.
Yes.
Another soccer question while I have you, because I don't have soccer guests on my show. I don't talk soccer, and I'm pretty much not talking soccer here. I'm just talking like things around soccer. FIFA.
Yep.
Why is it even necessary right now? Like international sports in general, like it seems to be so corrupt and so dirty and so down in the dumps, and people still line up to kiss ass every 4 years. Like now, the U.S. has decided, you know what, we want a World Cup. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Mexico in. We're going to bring Canada in and try to get this 2026 World Cup. My question to you, as someone who is familiar with the international stage, why does FIFA even have a purpose in 2017? It feels like to me that people can come together and put these things on without a governing body like FIFA.
Well, I don't know if I agree with you on that 100%. Okay. That, I do think that there has to be some kind of governing body oversight to just manage, even at minimum, the communication. I mean, think about how many countries in the world. There's something like 200 and some odd countries who compete on the men's side to get into the World Cup. So there's all of these qualifications that are going on around the world that you don't even see about because you only see the top teams when you get to the World Cup on the world stage that ends up on that final event. So to me, I do think that there is a time and a place and a need for that oversight and for that governing body, but FIFA is such a hot mess, and it is, I mean, I'm a glass half full kind of person, so I like to say that they're making progress, and I hope that they are. And there are some things that are better. But, I mean, it was so corrupt for so long that it's going to be like turning the Titanic around, and it's going to take decades to even try to get FIFA, even in semi-decent shape. But I just hope that they're starting to have more transparency around it, and they're starting to get more of the right people involved and a more diverse set of people involved, so that it can continue to move in a better direction.
Oh, that's right. They hate women and they hate poor people too. They still running slave camps over there in Qatar. Like, people want to talk about like the corruption. There's actual slaves in 2017 in Qatar dying, and no one knows about it, to build stadiums for soccer to be played in 159-degree weather. So, all right, there's that.
FIFA makes the International Olympic Committee look like saints.
Right.
So
right.
Let's just say that.
Let's talk about you. What would you say was the highlight of your playing career? Because you played a lot of soccer. What would you say would be the highlight of your playing career?
You know, I mean, I would say probably two come to mind in general. I mean, first, just representing your country in the Olympics is such an honor, and to have been able to get to experience that. I mean, still to this day, no joke, my favorite song is the national anthem. Because
we'll talk about that in a minute.
So yeah, like it's an interesting conversation too, because of all that's going on around you know, kneeling for the anthem and stuff. But to me, like, the way that I feel about it and the way that I have experienced it, and, you know, in my experiences as an American and as somebody who's, you know, put on a jersey that represents your country, it's incredibly powerful to me, and that experience will be something that I will always take away. Having said that, when I played in Sydney, you know, we won the silver medal. So that last moment of, you know, we lost that game in sudden death overtime. So losing that gold medal and being so close to that opportunity and having won the silver, there's still, like, I still get a little pit in my stomach thinking about how close we came to winning that gold medal. But then also, too, on the flip side, another really, really fantastic memory I have in soccer is winning a national championship in my senior year. Like, not that many people get to do that. And so, you know, you win your last game, and having that opportunity to bring a national championship to Santa Clara, which had never been done for the women before, it's an honor. It's really cool to think about.
The other voice that you're hearing right now is Danielle Slaton. Make sure you guys are following her on Twitter and Instagram at Danielle V. Slaton. Let's talk about the popularity of soccer, because I talked about this a few years ago when I was actually doing pedestrian radio. And I did a show about the popularity of soccer and the way it's soaring. The Hispanic community in this country is starting to increase. People who understand soccer more. Kids are starting to move away from football because of all the concussion stuff. Baseball, slow as hell and boring. And now in this world where everything has to happen instantaneously, kids aren't catching on to it. And I've been warning people, these baseball weirdos, like, look, soccer is coming. Like, I want to learn more about it because I know it's coming. It's about to be here. Here in Atlanta now, we do have a soccer team now. What's the next threshold for soccer to get into the bloodstream of America, as far as you're concerned?
You know, I mean, the reality is I think it just needs to continue to stay on this trajectory, and I talk about that particularly on the men's side. I mean, think about it now. Like, there's not a kid who probably didn't play soccer, at least for one season growing up, and that really started in the 90s, so and a lot on the girls' side and the women's side has to do with Title IX and really the infiltration and the growth of college women's soccer in the 90s. And you're starting to see the benefits of that now. You're starting to see people who grew up, like me, playing the sport and are now making decisions about what sporting events to put their children in, what sporting events to go attend and to pay money towards and to be fans of. So I think that what's interesting about soccer is the fan base is extremely young. You look at the fan base of baseball, for example, it's a much older fan base. And you look at soccer, and it's like you've got these 18 to 35-year-olds who are fanatic about their team. So I think MLS is going to continue to grow. I think the energy around the national teams and the World Cup continues to grow. And I think you look at that strictly by how much soccer you find on television, too. I mean, I couldn't find soccer on TV when I was growing up. Now it's English Premier League, it's Champions League, it's Bundesliga, it's La Liga in Spain. You have the French league that's on. So I think it's going to continue to stay on this trajectory. And I think what's going to be interesting to me is to follow how salaries increase on both the men's and women's side. Because you look at the NFL, you look at NBA, you look at Major League Baseball and even hockey too, to a lesser extent. But those salaries are, in general, and I'm making a big generalization here, but in general are much higher than soccer players are getting paid. So I'll be interested to see kind of where the money flows and where the money trickles down as more and more attention and more money gets involved in soccer.
Well, yeah, those things, they link to the TV contract. So as soccer gets more popular, people start seeing it more on television, the money will grow. I heard somebody, I got a buddy that's a real big soccer weirdo, and he was talking to me about how the talent in this country, like soccer players get worse when they go to high school, because in other countries, if you're a good soccer player, you go play club soccer with other grown men, and you get coached a different way, and it's more of a lifestyle for people in other countries. But here, when people who played soccer coming up get to high school or go to college, they get worse than they would be had they been playing in, like, I don't know, Argentina or Italy or somewhere. Is that a true thing?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, and what makes it so different for us in the United States is we have sports that are affiliated with schools. And they don't have that, particularly in Europe.
Right.
So these kids who, like, for example, Lionel Messi, I think greatest player in the world right now. So he went to Barcelona and he started playing professional soccer at 13 years old. So he is integrated into the club. He's probably not playing against, 30-year-olds at the time, but he's playing against 16, 18, 20-year-olds as he's continuing to grow, and he is getting that training environment and that experience. And it has nothing to do with sports. It has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with education or school. He is a professional athlete starting as a teenager. We don't have that system. We have a phenomenal college system. We have, sports that are linked to schools, which has, quite frankly, given opportunity to girls because of Title IX, strictly because of the system we have. But because of that and because of all the amateur rules we have around that, we don't have the same chance for development in terms of practice and paying players younger in the system that they use in Europe. So I agree with you that the developmental system for soccer in this country has a lot of work that needs to be done and a lot of changes that need to be done if we're going to even start to get close to comparing the developmental systems that they have over in Europe to what we've got here.
Wow. Didn't think I was going to spend this much time talking about soccer. I haven't talked about this much soccer in the 2 years I've been doing this show. All right, let's move on.
I'm just trying to educate you a little bit.
I appreciate it.
Wrap on this.
I appreciate it, but I just didn't anticipate asking you this many questions. I'm curious now, so I want to ask more questions. But let's move on to the other thing, the main thing that I actually called you about. In the article I was reading, it was about Dr. Harry Edwards and something that he's doing. He's building an institute for the modern athlete activist. And it caught my attention that you said in the interview that activism is, quote unquote, in my blood a little. Expound upon that a little bit for me.
Well, so it's kind of funny how I got involved with this event over at San Jose State. And I say it's in my blood because my father ran track at San Jose State. Mm-hmm. So I used to joke with him that he was the slow one on the relay team because he used to run alongside John Carlos, Tommy Smith, those two guys who stood on the 1968 Mexico City Olympics team. So he came from an environment where he was surrounded by those guys. Those were my dad's buddies growing up. So those were the guys that I saw and that I interacted with. And Dr. Edwards was my dad's teacher when he was in college. So when I say it's a little bit in my blood, it's just something that I grew up around, even though because maybe I was born in California, and because I have people like my father and people like John Carlos and like Tommy Smith who came before me, maybe I didn't face the same overt racism or the same overt struggles that they faced. Mm-hmm. But I experienced it tangentially. I experienced it through them. I heard those stories. And so it's always kind of been in me, even as I'm still kind of figuring out how I need to use my power for good, if you will.
That's crazy. It's like you got your story is kind of kindred to a guy I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, Craig Hodges. He's from Chicago. And if I recall correctly, he was talking about how he kind of got his activism chops by going to San Jose State too as well. So that's kind of like ironic to me. Activism. How does Danielle Slaton define activism? Because I think now the line is so blurred now as to what it is. Yeah. From Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem to Michael Jordan cutting a check for the police and for the black organization as well. It's like kind of riding that fence, and people lost their minds. Like, finally, MJ's here, and I'm like, MJ's where? What did he really do? So, from your perspective, how is activism defined?
I think that's a tough question. It's a great question. But to me, when I think about activism, I think about doing. Like, to me, so often we talk about it, right? Or we complain about it, or
Facebook posts.
Yeah, like I think, totally. Like when you have that Facebook post on the top, like, what are you doing today? Or what do you want to make a comment on today? And somebody posts, there's such a travesty going on in Syria, or whatever it is, right? And I'm like, yeah, but what you gonna do? Like, it's time for us to be about it, not just talk about it. So for me, I think it's figuring out what tugs at your heartstrings and what really speaks to you, whatever it might be, and then doing something proactive and positive to make a change. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to change the world in a day. It doesn't mean that you might change anything other than like the 20 people that you choose to interact with, or the 5 people you choose to interact with that day. But it's like, I had a coach who told me, look, like, now you might know. Now you may know what to do, but now you have to do what you know. And it's not just knowing what to do, it's actually executing on something to find a way to make a difference.
She's Danielle Slaton, joining the One Mic with Big Mike show. She's the director of the Jerry Smith Coaching for Life Academy. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram at Danielle V. Slaton. Speaking of the Jerry Smith Coaching for Life Academy, what kind of stuff are you doing with the kids? Because I think that's a pretty ill move. I know that Colin Kaepernick was doing some things like that, teaching kids their rights, how to go about their business from an activist point of view. Are those some of the same type of things that you're doing with the kids as well?
Yeah, I mean, at the Coaching for Life Academy, our real big mission and our initiative is to make sure that we're integrating life skills development into sports. And being active and knowing yourself and finding yourself is certainly a part of that. And so what we do is we work in the Bay Area. Right now we're actually building an online, like a professional development course for coaches specifically who work in youth sports to say, hey, look, you have this opportunity just like teachers do, just like so many people who work with young people have the opportunity to make a positive impact. But we're not necessarily giving you the same resources or education that, for example, we give to our teachers here at Santa Clara who are becoming teachers, So we teach them all about, classroom management, cultural competency, adolescent psychology, and yet a coach right now, you can kind of just become a coach because you say you want to.
Right.
And, you don't have to necessarily have any credentialing. You don't necessarily have to have any education on it. You just say, hey, I want to be a coach because I used to play or because my kid needs a coach or whatever it is. And so what we like to teach is, I call it everything outside the X's and O's. So everything that's going to help you to be a better coach, help you to be a better player, help you to be a better person and human being, that's what I'm most interested in, because I think as more and more money gets involved in sports, it's trickling down to youth sports. Because right now, like, youth sports is professional sports in many places, and the amount of money and the amount of crazy that goes on there is insane to me sometimes. And I want to get back to what the real important thing is about youth sports, so kids can be kids, and they can also learn how to be, quite frankly, contributing human beings once they become adults.
That's the realest thing ever. I used to coach youth football, and that was one of the things that made me get out of it, because I was looking at these grown men doing everything under the sun for a little plastic trophy at the end of a eight and under season. I'm like, my man, like, I don't care if these kids, I want them to win because I'm working them hard enough, but I want this something I'm doing today to impact their lives in 10 years when they're walking across some high school graduation stage. Like, winning a game today means nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I look at it too, and I'm like, we hear people talk about, sports is a great way to learn teamwork, and a great way to, learn communication skills. But you know what? Sports can also be a great way to learn how to cheat,
right,
how to injure somebody, how to do all of these things. And so we have to be the example, and we have to teach them the things that we want them to learn, because there's a lot of bad things you can learn through sports through the wrong way. And let me tell you, there are a lot of examples out there of guys and women doing the wrong thing that our kids look up to and say, oh, yeah, I want to be like Ray Rice. I want to be like Hope Solo. I want to be like so-and-so. And we need to make sure that we're steering these people and these young people in the right direction.
All right, let's talk about your favorite song now. My man.
My favorite what?
Your favorite song.
My favorite song.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My man Colin Kaepernick decided that he wasn't going to stand for the national anthem last year, and everybody lost their damn mind, and the idiots amongst the population turned everything into a battle between Colin Kaepernick and the troops, even though he very, very articulately said that, no, this is not that. This is about the police killing black kids in the street and not feeling any punishment behind it. So now fast forward to this year. He says, now I'm doing my thing, I'm using my money. I'm being an activist as defined by Danielle Slaton. He's actually doing work and saying, now I need work to continue to do my good work, and I'll stand for the pledge. And so now the thoughts amongst many is that he's being blackballed from the NFL based on his stance last year, taking advantage of the rights that are bestowed upon him by being an American. Yeah. And I want to know what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts then when it was happening, and now what are your thoughts now when he's continuing to face aftermath for that decision?
I thought it was incredibly courageous. I think it takes a ton of guts to do what he did and to continue to do it despite all the craziness and the misinterpretation around it. And so I give him mad props for being able to do that and stick with it and to really fight for what he thought was right. So I think it was incredibly courageous. I have to say, I was a little surprised. Like, I kind of expected it to pick up momentum, especially as we got into the NBA season. So, last fall, you see all this stuff going around Colin Kaepernick and around the NFL, and I'm like, oh, no, wait till we get to, like, November, December, and we have the NBA that's this predominantly black league, and something's going to happen. Like, this thing is going to take off. And it never really did.
Yeah, cats don't want them problems.
And I don't know. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons for it, and maybe some of it is, some players saw what happened to Colin Kaepernick, and they said, nah, I don't want to, choose this fight, or I want to do it in a different way, and, some of the players did, and they stood up at the ESPYs and whatnot, but I was surprised by it, I do, because I thought it was kind of like I thought that Kaepernick was the match.
I mean, the lady showed up.
Catch fire.
The WNBA lady showed up, you know what I mean? And should have embarrassed the NBA dudes, to be honest with you. I think I mentioned that a couple months ago on the show. Like, these dudes ought to be ashamed of themselves, man. These ladies are out here like, yo, we're getting paid a percentage of what you guys are paying and still willing to risk it to stand up, wear our T-shirts, take our knees, and do the whole thing for what we believe in. But I think it's just another, I guess, another result of the time that we live in. The age of the activism, or what activism is kind of, like I said before, it's kind of gotten a little blurry. The last thing I got for you real quick, and I'm definitely appreciative of your time. In your sport, soccer, Megan Rapinoe, she was one of the first to hitch her wagon to Colin Kaepernick. And then a lot of little shady stuff was done, playing the anthem before they came out so that she wasn't able to kneel. Now, there's an official rule that says, you know what, middle fingers to your rights. This is soccer. Yeah. You're wearing a flag on your body. You're going to stand. Yeah. How do you feel about that, being forced to?
It doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with me at all. And I try to be as gracious as possible and really try to look at things from all sides to understand them. And there's a small piece of me that can understand where U.S. soccer is coming from. There's a small piece that can understand that. But to me, and just like the argument of, pitting Colin Kaepernick against the military and this, that, and the other, I think people are missing the point. And what I would have so much rather have U.S. soccer have done was say something like, look, we understand that this is an issue. We want you to stand for the national anthem. It is important to us, and we are going to request that of you if that's what the road they're going to go down. But also, let's say we're going to add a whole course or a whole unit on cultural competency and awareness into all of our coaching education. I think there's a way to find a win-win without saying do this or else, or I'm going to do this or else. Like, we can find compromise here, but I think that we are in a society right now where compromise and being moderate is a dirty word.
Right.
And we both need to be able to reach across the table and really sit down and listen to each other more. And I don't think that people who are in positions of power are willing to do that enough now. And that's what, quite frankly, pisses me off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Jerry Smith Coaching for Life Academy, the two-time medalist with the U.S. Women's National Team, broadcaster, educator, activist, all those things, Miss Danielle Slaton at Danielle V. Slaton. I definitely 100% appreciate your time. It's been awesome, too. I learned a lot about soccer today, and you've pretty much filled my soccer quota for the entire year. So there we go.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. It was great. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye-bye now.
All right. Yeah, that was filling. You know what I mean? And I hope everything that she's got popping, man, I hope it flies off the handle, man, because she's doing some good work. Her, Dr. Harry Edwards, that's the next target. We're gonna get the big dog, Dr. Harry Edwards, on the phone, man, and see if we can break down and get some real in depth back in the day type versus today type stuff when it comes to all this athlete activism stuff. Because I don't think. You know, you ain't going to hear too much about this unless somebody else does something, raises a fist or gets on a knee or something. ESPN ain't going to really give it to you, so I'm going to try to fill that void. All right, it's the One Mic with Big Mike show. We're going to take a break, come back. I got to talk about how shameful I felt yesterday, how, I felt proud and shamed over the weekend, and I'll talk about it next as well as I do on this day. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show, Spreaker.com, the app. Tune in, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com is where I'm heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
Ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah, I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
I want to say thank you to the wonderful Danielle Slaton at Danielle V. Slaton on social media. Make sure you guys follow. Hey, have you guys heard of a such thing as lunch shaming? You know what that is? Out in New Mexico, lunch shaming is when a student or their parents can't pay the lunch bill. So the school officials perform certain actions to embarrass the child. This might involve where is it? Involved throwing out the kids' lunch. What the hell is that? Throwing out the kids' lunch. Making them do chores in return for a meal, or making them wear wristbands signifying the bill delinquency. Yeah, dude. That's foul. That's foul business, man. You can't do folks' kids like that because they parents is poor. Like, what happened to back in the day, man? We like when kids came to school, man, they couldn't afford lunch. Like, you had teachers, man, that would go in their pocket and get their little, I don't know how much lunch is now. It's probably like $18 now. But like, back in the day, a teacher would like go in their pocket and grab $2 out their pocket real quick and hook a kid up that could, we knew who the kids was, you know what I mean? That was living that life. Now they golly. Like, I'm mainly sometimes the dude that's like, I don't believe in all that shaming stuff, like slut shaming and all that kind of stuff. But these kids, man, like, it ain't the kid fault that they don't have no money and that they're at the same time still hungry. But, Agent Orange is in the White House. What you gonna expect, man? Agent Orange is in the White House. He already said stop feeding these damn kids at the school anyway. So they put a wristband on your ass. So that's cold blooded. Because I know us back in the day, you see somebody walking around with that wristband on, we probably would call it like the poverty band or something, that poor wristband. We'd probably call it something real shameful and mean. Anyway, also, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I'm giving away some brand new era Mitchell & Ness Atlanta Hawks caps. The playoffs is about to start. The Hawks are in it for what is this? The 8th, 9th, 10th year in a row or whatever. Hadn't amounted to anything, but it's, I guess, something to acknowledge. Whatever. Playoffs start on Saturday. So here's the deal. Here's how you get yourself a free hat. I thought about this, and I'm going to make it very, very easy, right? All you got to do, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike. 1 MIC WITHBIGMIKE. That is the numeral 1. Don't type in ONE, the numeral 1. And then just send me a DM. Just DM me with the hashtag Big Mike's Brims. BIGMIKES BRIMS. Big Mike's Brims. And then during the Hawks' first game of the season, or of the playoffs, I'll give away one. During the next game, I'll give away another one. I'll just pick a name at random, hit you back on the DM, let you know you won, get your information, and send it out to you. It'll be that simple. Big Mike's Brims. Please believe. I ain't got an Instagram. You got a Twitter, don't you? I said Twitter or Instagram. I'm taking care of B. Twitter or Instagram. Holla at your man. All right, so I got to pause real quick to do on this day, and I'll come back and talk about how shameful this city made me this weekend. How shamed I am of my fair, lovely city of Atlanta. God dang it.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
Damn, no Doge, you like off the grid, cuz. You like, I ain't got Instagram. I ain't got no Facebook. You got one, like, 100. Like, I wish, like, I actually do. I envy you, dude. I want to live that life. Go back to just go back to, follow me on both of them, but just send me the DM from one of them, my man. But yeah, I'd love to go back to that Twitter life. Leave Facebook and this damn show, man. This damn show is like my prison guard, like the dude from Shawshank, Hatterley or whatever his name was. The show is that. It forces me to be on all these different things. I don't need 140 characters to get my point across to people. Anyway, what am I doing here on this day? In 1916, the first professional golf tournament was held. And as you know, this past weekend, Sergio Garcia won. I don't know what number it was, but he won the Masters. No one watched. The ratings was hella bad. No Tiger means no ratings, white people. And then when you have it at a racist ass golf course, you deserve it. On this day in 1924, tubular steel golf club shafts were approved for championship play. You know, before, like on Bagger Vance, they was using them wood joints. They got a chance to use steel in 1924. On this day in 1947, the Brooklyn Dodgers president, Branch Rickey, y'all know where I'm going, he announced that he had purchased the contract of Jackie Robinson from the Montreal Royals. Robinson was the first African-American, a.k.a. Negro, Hashtag bring Negro back. We got to bring Negro back, y'all. Player of the modern era. On this day in 1978, the formation of the major indoor soccer league is announced. Wait, that's the MISL, Major Indoor Soccer. That's not the MLS. On this day in 1979, J.R. Richard throws a major league record 6 wild pitches in the Astrodome. Damn, when was they going to take this dude out? And finally, on this day in 2000, the great Ken Griffey Jr., the kid, he became the youngest player in baseball history to reach 400 home runs. He was 30 years and 141 days old. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Monday edition of On This Day. Don't forget, follow your boy, Twitter or Instagram. Send me a DM, hashtag Big Mike's Brims in the, I don't know, is it the subject line? What is it? Just send that. Hashtag Big Mike's Brims. I'll pull a name. I'll hit you back, let you know you won during the first, second, third, fourth. I think I got 5 hats, maybe 6. So however long the Hawks go in the playoffs, they'll go at least 4 games, right? 7-game series to go at least 4 games. I had to do the math in my head real quick. So I'll give away at least 4 hats this time around. I got other hats in the closet that have never been worn. I don't know, just the wasteful human being that I am, or maybe just the waste of a human being that I am. Either way, whatever side of that you stand on, you're probably right. So this weekend, speaking of those damn Atlanta Hawks, shout out to Paul Millsap, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dwight Howard and the boys. Went up to Cleveland on Friday, watched that game. They pushed it all the way in. Actually, they didn't. As a matter of fact, it was like Mike Dunleavy and Ilyasova and Mike Muscala and them cats. All the bench players. Dennis Schroeder ain't play. With the bench players, they went to Cleveland, who rested no one, and pushed it all the way in on the Cavs. Now, that was awesome, right? It was awesome. And my man Bob Rathman was losing his damn mind, talking about historical, one of the greatest wins in Hawks franchise history. And like, while I was feeling like, man, this is cool, like, just shame started to wash over me. You know what I mean? Like, that, a regular season win, 1 of 82, is the most impressive win in this franchise history through 2 cities. Like, this team, kind of, the St. Louis Hawks won an NBA championship before. And that, I started asking myself, does Bob realize that it's not boxing or like MMA? Like, if you beat the previous champion, like, they don't have to go in the locker room and get their rings and give them to you. You know what I mean? Or they trophy and give it to you. You don't win nothing. It's just a regular season game. But it does illuminate the mindset of teams that don't usually win, aren't used to winning. That's what this team is, you know. That's what this Atlanta Hawks team is. They're not used to winning. This organization as a whole is not used to winning because they ain't never won. Well, a couple years ago, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and got it pushed way in, like hospitalization type stuff. They pushed it all the way in. LeBron and them boys, only for your man Thabo Cephalosha to be like, if I was there, if you was there, what? What were you going to do, Thabo? Yeah, you lucky your leg was broke. Like, well, yeah, probably because you got $4 million off of it. Anyway, so then Sunday, turnaround Sunday. Now the Cavs come here. And the Hawks start everybody, right? Millsap is out there, Dwight Howard, Dennis Schroeder, Tim Hardaway Jr. Everybody's a go. And they start getting it pushed in. They getting it banged out. And usually, you know, because I kind of saw it coming. My mindset told me, like, man, this is going to be bad for the Hawks today because of what happened on Friday. So usually it starts getting like that, and I'm going to turn the television because, you know, I have this, like, allergic reaction to bad basketball. But for whatever reason, I didn't. I ain't turned it. And I watched. Started doing stuff in the kitchen. Game still on. And the next thing I know, the Hawks are within 5, with a couple minutes left. Then a bunch of stuff transpired. Millsap hits a baseline jumper, coming off of a jump ball. Tie ball game. We go to overtime. Cats start fouling out. LeBron fouls out. So I'm like, what the hell is happening? So now I'm like, okay, the Hawks still ain't gonna win this game. They can't. That can't be a thing. That can't happen today. You You know, not that I ain't want them to win. I'm just thinking to myself, that can't be a thing that happens. Well, that thing happened. Hawks won the game. So in 72 hours, they beat the Cavs twice. And both in very, very embarrassing fashions. Probably the most embarrassing ways to lose. Kind of like how the Falcons lost in the Super Bowl. Like, you can lose Super Bowls, but you can't lose Super Bowl when you're up 25 or 28 to 3? Doesn't matter. Yeah, up 28 to 3, up 25 points. You can't lose Super Bowls when you're up that much. And when you do, it's epic. So, needless to say, while in my fair city, it was looked upon as this, like you would have thought the Hawks had just won Game 7 of the NBA Finals and had brought home a championship to the ATL. The way folks was acting, they was talking like historically, this is historic type of stuff. And I'm like, calm down, pump your brakes. The real game's coming up on Saturday. If you blow your wad today, what you going to do when the real game started on Saturday? The real playoff game, like the real ones that count for something. This game, you're talking 2 of 82, my man. But it was so embarrassing. It's like this city has such a loser's mentality when it comes to sports. Something like that has people talking that nonsense historically. This is a historic night here in Atlanta. It's historic by this measure. The last time a team allowed a comeback from like 26 points down, I think it was like 2002. It's historic from that aspect, but really nothing more. If I'm going to keep it real, really nothing more. There's a ball game, and a lot of things happen. The other thing that came out of that is your man, shout out to Scotty Baker, checking in here on Facebook. Like LeBron and them, talking about the refs. Yeah, there were some bad calls made. There were. You know what I mean? The LeBron foul on Paul Millsap that fouled him out. There was a jump ball that was awarded that led to the Paul Millsap shot that sent the game to overtime. On the tie-up that caused the jump ball, Kent Bazemore and Paul Millsap, both guys that were involved in the tie-up, were out of bounds, which means you cannot be touching the ball and be out of bounds, which means you're out of bounds. The ball is dead. It's Cleveland basketball. On top of that, LeBron keeps saying that he's calling timeout while Kyrie has the ball. And the referee gave him some sort of explanation that he wasn't focused on the timeout, he was focused on the tie-up or something like that. He wasn't focused on the possession or something crazy like that. But when it all boils down, to, it wasn't about the ref. The ref didn't cause you 26 points. They didn't cause you to blow a 5-point lead when you was up with 3 minutes to go. And now it's time to panic. If you're listening to ESPN and you're listening to all these places, you see an opening. The Cavs. Like, look, I'm the type of dude that's like this. That team has LeBron James on it. Now, Kyrie might be a little bit banged up. Like I said, no one's playing tonight. And a bunch of, they saying they're hurt because of what Adam Silver put in his little memo. People saying they're hurt, Kevin Love is sick, and blah, 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 whatever. But I do think Kyrie is banged up. He had to go back to the locker room a couple times, or at least once. But with that being said, LeBron James is on that team. And when I kind of canvass the Eastern Conference landscape and I look at the Boston Celtics, Jay Crowder and Marcus Smart and Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, of course. All right, maybe. I look at the Raptors. I look at Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Serge Ibaka. All right. Got the Washington Wizards, Brad Beal, John Wall. All right. I still don't really see that team that in a 7-game series is going to make LeBron and the boys flinch. They all things made equal. I ain't talking about, outside of the consideration of injury. I don't see anything making LeBron James blink. And, if they lose, they lose. And then I'll be convinced that there was a team in the Eastern Conference that will beat them. But right now, I'm not convinced that there's a team in the Eastern Conference that's going to beat the Cavs. I know that dude's resume. You feel me? So, until it happens, like my man Bernie Mac said, shout out to Bernie Mac. Believe ish when ish happens. You know what I mean? That's me. I believe it when it happened. These folks want, because now, as you can tell, not a whole lot to talk about today in sports. So you got to make stuff go. You got to talk about the MVP situation. You got to talk about LeBron and the Cavs and this major collapse and all that. By the way, that's what it was too. Like, I know it sounds like shade that you can't really call it like a Hawks comeback. They scored 44 points in a quarter. That's a collapse, B. I don't give a damn what you, because this ain't the Golden State Warriors we're talking about. One of these high octane teams. This is a team with Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap. This ain't that. 44 points in a quarter. Kent Bazemore. Tim Hardaway Jr. You understand? Oh, Big L's in the building. Spitting hot fire. The Cavs will not make the finals. All right. I mean, okay. I don't know what to say about that. Like, you know the show, Big L. I'm not going to argue with you on that because neither you or I know that to be a fact. You know, it'll happen or it won't. And then we'll know. You know what I mean? Like, they'll get beat and then they won't make it, or they'll run through the East and then be in the finals again with presumably Golden State. KD came back, 16 points. Looked like a man who's fresh. You know what I mean? Like a man who's ready to play some playoff basketball. And people keep saying this thing about that team as it relates to the ball stopping. Who was that said it today? I found that funny. It may have been today or yesterday. They was like, yeah, you probably be all right with the ball stopping if the next stop for it is through the net. Yeah, because that's who KD is. He gets buckets on his own. Like, he don't need that. And we saw last year the one void that the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to exploit. Even the Oklahoma City Thunder in the series before that, in the Western Conference Finals, that they were able to exploit was the fact that they didn't have a true finisher. A playoff finisher, a guy who, like, once you get to the rack, the official's gonna let a little bit of that contact go. Like Clay ain't finishing through contact. He's not explosive enough at the rim. These guys have to be crafty at the rim and do, you know, a lot of trickery with the shot and all that kind of stuff. Not Kevin Durant, B. He's 7 feet tall with a hellified wingspan, handles, and a shot. Only thing you can hope for with him is that he misses. There's no affecting that shot. He jumps too high. His release is too high. He's too tall and lanky. Yeah. If he gets to the goal, he's not getting crafty. That block that LeBron got on Andre Iguodala, the famous block, watch Andre Iguodala change the shot up and try to, you know, get, and he is probably one of their most explosive players. Yeah. Guess who dunks that basketball? Yeah. Kevin Durant. Yeah. He putting you in the goal, cuz ain't no trickery at the goal. Kevin Durant gonna rack you up, and that's what they need. Like we talk about how Kevin Durant left because he needed that. Nah, it was mutual. At the very least, it's mutual. They needed him. Outside of the 73 wins last year, they needed him because when the physicality picked up in the playoffs, in that Oklahoma series, then again in that Cleveland series, when that physicality picked up, they needed a guy who can get his shot whenever he want to. Against anybody. There is no defense for Kevin Durant other than the rim, him missing the shot. That's it. So now, we'll see what story's told. You know what I mean? The playoffs is going to start. We'll get to see my man Dame Lillard's in the playoffs. So shout out to that, man. I'm glad to see that point guard matchup. And Dame Lillard had 59, suckers. Whoo! Like, Cass is getting primed, man. I don't like, if you not ready for this because you ain't been watching the season or whatever. Shame on you, first of all. I said that earlier when I asked the question, like when you guys start watching professional basketball. Shame on you, first of all, for that. But now I'm anticipating a treat, man. You know what I mean? I will say that I'm anticipating a treat. I can't predict anything because, again, like I just told Big L, you don't know. But I'm reading what Big L is saying. It's kind of incoherent. It's like Emmitt Smith complimenting Sergio Garcia. Did y'all see that? Big L saying, I will say I don't. Oh, I will say I don't. You so, sir. I don't know what that means. Okay. Did y'all see that? Emmitt Smith? Who's in charge of Emmitt Smith's Twitter account? Like, someone needs to be, because he's setting himself up for this. So yesterday, Sergio Garcia, and I'll get back to the basketball thing maybe in a second. Sergio Garcia wins the Masters yesterday, or as I call them, the Masters yesterday, right? Here's the other question I have. Are you Hispanic if you're from Spain? Or is that just something that's reserved for like the Mexican bros and the Dominican bros and the Puerto Rican bros? Like, are you a Spaniard from Spain and everybody else is Hispanic? Is that how that works? Who knows the answer to this question? Because I think this is you know what too, Reg, this is one of those things that we got to start putting on the poll. I got to get you to start putting stuff on the poll during the show. Remind me on Thursday or so to give you my, oh, stop doing that too, by the way. Stop driving and texting before somebody start blaming me for killing your ass on the highway, dude. Stop, Big L. Just listen and stop texting. I know you there. Appreciate you being there, but stop doing that. But yeah, we're going to start putting the polls up during the show. So I'll give you my Twitter information, my Twitter account, log in or whatever, and show you the format, how I want it, posted or whatever. And we'll get it going. But that'd be a good poll question. Like, are you Hispanic if you're from Spain? Or are you just a Spaniard? I think you're just a Spaniard. And then like the Puerto Rican homies and the Mexican homies and the Dominican homies, they're Hispanic. Or the Cuban homies are Hispanic homies, right? Yeah. But anyway, my man, Deuce. You remember when Emmitt Smith was on Countdown? This was so cool, man. Stop, Big L. Stop texting, dude. Seriously, you're making me nervous, B. Like, get somewhere where you gonna be and then hit your boy up, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate you participating, but like I don't need that. I don't want that life. You know what I mean? So my man Emmitt Smith says at Emmitt Smith 22, if you want to get some of this comedy in your life, congratulations to at the Sergio Garcia. Never say never. Way to persevere through a varsity. Through a varsity. Yeah, that's what my man put. Not through adversity, through a varsity. So if you say to yourself, you might be a Cowboys fan, you might be a big Emmitt Smith fan. I'm a big Emmitt Smith fan. I like Emmitt Smith as a football player. Hate him as an analyst. I'll tell you why here in just a second before we take this break. So you might be saying to yourself, oh man, lay off Emmitt, man. That's just autocorrect. Because I get bit by the autocorrect all the time, especially with cuss words. It makes me sound like an idiot when I'm trying to cuss and I'm not paying attention. It says something real stupid instead of the cuss word that I'm trying to type in. Anyway, so you think Emmitt Smith has just made a mistake. He comes back, doubles down on the stupidity. Computer glitch adversity is the word I should have been used. Wait, what? This is a quote from his Twitter account. Computer glitch. No punctuation. Like, this ain't 140 characters. You got time. Because you ain't playing, you ain't working nowhere. Computer glitch adversity is the word I should have been used. My man. My guy. There's a website dedicated to this, by the way. I had it up, too. Damn it. It's Walter. Is it waltersport.com? With like all the stupid stuff that Emmitt Smith has said, like on TV and on Countdown. When he was like, you can't make a tiger change his spots. Wait, what? You can't do what? Damn it, bruh. Yeah. Who man is that? Hashtag who man is this? I thought I had it here. Yeah, Emmitt is like, he just be clowning him and Jerry Rice, man. The two dudes, like they're in the Hall of Fame for the worst analyst I've ever, including like honorable mention Ray Lewis, honorable mention, but your man. There's no one who can take the crown from the homie Emmitt Smith. It's like Walter Sport. I was just looking at it before the show started. I swear I was, man. And now all of a sudden I can't find it. Just my luck, because I wanted to rip one, just rip Emmitt Smith. Here it is. How much time I got? Hold on, let me make sure. Let me check my time. Yeah, I got a couple of minutes. Read you some of these gems, man. The Packers don't has a running game. Sure they don't, Emmett. That makes total sense. This team have not played confident football in 3 weeks. Where's the one he talks about the rice, though? He says something about, they have to rise to the occasion. My man. Like, yeah, dude. Like, there are certain people I love those style of play that the Tennessee Titans bring to the game. God. You know what, man? Certain people, they were just put on the planet to do one thing, man. Like, this dude was put on the planet to be the leading runner in NFL history. Like, his record would never be broken, and he'll live on in not infamy. You know, he'll live on forever. You know what I mean? He'll be immortal. He's in the Hall of Fame, and that's what Emmitt Smith's gig is, man. Just that. Did he steal Martin Lawrence's wife too, or was it the other way around? No, Emmitt Smith took Martin Lawrence's wife, didn't he? Yeah, he was like Derek Fisher before Derek Fisher. Anyway, we'll take a break. Come back for the last segment of the show. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com. And don't forget the show is available on demand on all of those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. And you can catch the show, the video stream right now on Facebook at One Mic with Big Mike. I'll be right back.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
I had a sore in my mouth that just wouldn't go away. And after a couple of weeks, I went to my doctor.
A sore, lump, or thick patch in your mouth or throat could be a symptom of oral cancer.
My doctor told me I was smart to come in. He said that oral cancer is more common in African American men than in any other group in the U.S. It turns out I did have oral cancer, but it was caught early and my treatment was successful. I'm glad I got it checked. That probably saved my life.
If you're an African American man, you need to know about oral cancer. Visit a doctor or dentist if you see changes in your mouth that don't go away after 2 weeks. It's important to get an oral cancer exam, because if you do have cancer, the earlier it's caught, the better. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
Hey, this is my record right here, boy. That boy might be crazy as hell. He might have beat the hell out of that damn woman. He make hits though. No pun intended. Yeah, man. This dude pump out hits. It's a perfect example of like how nobody's just one thing to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like to Rihanna, but to everybody. He's a woman beater, but he's also a hellified R&B artist, man. Like this dude is, Chris Brown is like, yeah, this song here is like the truth. If you back to sleep, girl. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back to the Monday edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker account and follow your man. Follow the show on Spreaker. And while the show is live, or when the show goes live, you get an alert that you know it's time to rock and roll. You can also get it on demand via the Spreaker app. Tune in as well if you got that on your phone. The OneMicWithBigMike.com website, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the iTunes and all those things. Subscribe to my Stitcher, my Google Play. Just subscribe, man. Subscribe to you, man. And also make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram or make that distinction. No, follow me on both if you got them. If you don't, just follow me on the one you got. At One Mic with Big Mike. And then send me your DM with hashtag Big Mike's Brims. And during the Atlanta Falcons, during the Atlanta Hawks playoff games, I'll select a name. Send you out a free New Era or Mitchell & Ness Atlanta Falcons snapback hat. You know what else too? I'm mad at you dudes about Reggie, you, Big L, No Doze. You know, and all that time I was asking y'all what y'all want to talk about on Friday. Ain't nobody, you made me forget to talk about this Chris Carter nonsense. and his dumb ass talking about Colin Kaepernick. And I never miss an opportunity to talk about Colin Kaepernick. That's my guy. Like, if I was a dude that bought jerseys and stuff, I would buy Colin Kaepernick's jersey, but I'm not that dude anymore. Used to be. Mid-2000s. Not anymore. So anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Chris Carter got on one of them Fox Sports shows. Which one is undisputed? Is that the one with Shannon Sharp, or is that the one with Colin Kaepernick? Or not Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. Anyway, he got on one of those shows. And here's what he decided to say. Like, this one stuff just kind of goes like off the rails. Like, you don't have to be the dude that always has the dumbass controversial comment. Chris Carter says, Kaepernick, quote unquote, quote, set himself up to be, quote unquote, blackballed. Really? Is that how that works? Not really in tune with the whole blackballing movement, but yeah, don't know if that's a thing. So he goes on to say this, quote, you can put yourself in a position to be blackballed. When he took a knee for the national anthem, he put himself in a position where he could be blackballed. Yeah, that's what he was thinking about. It had nothing to do with the police murdering black folks. Nope. Everybody focus on just whatever they feel like comes to mind that in that minute. He did it to himself. You know what that sounds like, to be honest with you? And I actually put this on social media somewhere. I tweeted it or something. Like, Chris Carter is that dude. He's that dude throughout history that thinks white folks love him. You know, like, he'll forget about all the crap that white folks put him through, like when he was on cocaine and when he was a drunk. He'll forget about that because even when he didn't make the Hall of Fame the first couple times, and they finally gave his ass what he wanted. Now he'll be the spokesperson for, like, see, if only he would have done what Massa said do, he wouldn't have got beat. Yeah, because it's his fault. You know what I mean? It's the dude. It's the oppressed fault that the oppressors act the way they do. Why is no one? All these people, right, that have these microphones in their faces. Why is no one speaking out about the institution that would allow this kind of foolishness? That would say, if you're a black man and you take advantage of your American rights, there's no place for you in this league, in this place of employment. Why are none of these black folks talking about that side of it? Like, Colin Kaepernick is not a sympathetic figure, nor do I wouldn't think he wants to be that. He's a man who took a stand on what he believed. And then that same man said to himself, uh-oh, I know what's about to happen now. So now I got to back up a little bit. I got to recalibrate. You know, I got my stuff in order. I'm sending food over to Africa to help starving babies and women and children. You know what I mean? I helped out the people in Standing Rock, working with the kids, gave all my Jordans away to the homeless, doing all these good things. But now I need income. So in order to continue my income, the need then was felt to say, you know what, boss, I'll be good. I'll be a good Negro. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, boss. I'll be good. Rather than these people championing this man for doing something. Even the government right now is saying, you know what, forget y'all. What's the guy's name? Is it Jeff Sessions? He's the dude now. He's the top cop, saying, like, we don't need no damn oversight for the police station. Let them be corrupt. There's a police station, was a police station in, like, Dothan, Alabama. That was all Klan, as in Ku Klux. And this MF doesn't think that the government needs to have oversight over these corrupt ass police stations. By the way, they weren't just Klansmen. They were locking black folks up and putting dope on them so they can go to jail. Innocent black folks, but he's one of Agent Orange's homeboys, so they don't need for that. So instead of guys like Chris Carter saying, you know what, it's not Kaepernick's, this isn't his deal that this is happening to him, which is what he's saying. This is his fault. It's not his deal. It's Roger Goodell's deal, because he ain't said nothing about it. It's George Mara. It's Robert Kraft. It's all these owners, these white boy owners, these rich white boy owners, Jerry Jones, all these cats. Mark Davis. It's them. It's them. They're the ones that have created this system that if you don't do what we say do, boy, it's going to be hell to pay. And this is what's happening. And now they got these mumbling ass, dumbass Negroes and Jason Whitlock and Chris Carter. That dude, what's that dude's name? Sean, I was about to call him Sean Carter. What is his name? The guy that he does all the Black Lives Matter stuff, Sean King. He got on that show and told Jason Whitlock, he said throughout history, white men have always paid Negroes to say the things that they know they couldn't say. And sir, he said, you, my friend, are that you are that Negro. And I was like, yep. Shots fired. But he's right, man. These cats get on TV, man, and just get like so stupid, man. He went on to talk about how this is another quote from Chris Carter, by the way, and I'll move on in a second. When you get into situations like this, man, you need somebody to vouch for you. You need someone to vouch for your football IQ, vouch for your character. You need someone to vouch for your leadership, and Cap don't have that. Is that true? Because Jim Harbaugh came out, spoke for him. His college coach came out and spoke for him. Michael Bennett came out and spoke for him. A lot of people spoke out for him. The problem is, again, systematically, it's not advantageous for you to do that because you are in a league without guaranteed contracts. So it's almost like there's this book. Like my old lady read it for one of her classes, her like sociology classes or whatever, and it talks about how it wasn't just the physical part of slavery, it was that mental part of slavery, how it was about taking the biggest slave and just beating his ass to death so that everyone else saw what the repercussions would be if you stepped out of line. This is what's happening in real time, B. 2017, this is happening. This is happening to Colin Kaepernick. So if you think you want to get out of line, y'all was slick with all that joining arm stuff, right? That raising fist stuff. Keep on if you want to. Watch what happened to you too. Same thing that happened to this Negro. This is why you don't hear a group of people coming to this man's defense. I can't blame him. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna sign up for their livelihood to be taken from them? And while this man's saying he don't have no people who think he's a good leader, they don't think he's a good teammate. Yeah, he won an award that was voted on by his teammates for inspirational and courageous play. Yeah, they didn't have to. I remember reading the article. He didn't even expect to get it. It was unexpected, but they did. They appreciated it, and they recognized him for that. He started pointing out like old stuff, like him and Alden Smith got into a fight over the chick that he's with now, Nessa, the chick that's on the radio in New York. She was Alden Smith's girlfriend first, which there's that. But at the end of the day, like, what are we talking about? Alden Smith ain't even in the league right now. Like, apparently he's not thinking about it no more. He's still trying to play football again. So why is Chris Carter worried about it? That's weird. Like, that's like, I don't know. That's just female type, ridiculous, dumb stuff, man. When in reality, when you sit here and start talking about how, like, no one's standing up for him, dude, you got a microphone in your face right now, and you're doing the opposite of standing up for this dude. You saying that everything he's getting for saying police shouldn't kill black people without any repercussions. You're saying that that's wrong and what's happening to him is right. And if you notice, the term coon or Tom and all that stuff don't come out of my mouth. I don't do that. That ain't my bag. You know what I mean? But when people do that, if people chose to do that in this situation, I don't know. Maybe they'd be justified. Maybe. Because he's not just making an opinion. He's going out of his way to say that's what your ass get. Yeah, Chris Carter. Yeah. And he started talking about, you know who else I need? Reggie, remember this for me, dude. I got to try to get in touch with a dude named Doug Chapman. Many of you might not know who Doug Chapman is. Doug Chapman played at Marshall University, played running back, played a couple of years in the NFL as well. Couple of those years were with the Minnesota Vikings. I happen to know a story personally that Doug Chapman was going to whoop Chris Carter's ass as a rookie during like training camp or mini camp or something like that, you know. And there's some stories about Chris Carter, the type of teammate he was as well. Like, cats think people don't know stuff about them. You know what I mean? They start spitting out stuff. And then when LeBron comes back on Barkley and starts talking about you threw dudes out windows, cuz you was out drinking and smoking, showed up late for the All-Star weekend. Like, people think people don't know about them, man. That now they want to act like everything's all good. It ain't all good, man. You a shady ass dude. That's one of the most ridiculous things. These white folks put you in a suit and tie and throw you in front of a microphone and say, "Go, boy, do my work for me." Yeah, you can miss me with it. Moving on from that. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Got a couple minutes left in the show. I want to thank my guest, man, Danielle Slaton. Reggie said he enjoyed her. I enjoyed it too, man. She was very upbeat, personal, very, very informative as well, man. Like, first and foremost, very informative about a lot of things, and with everything she's doing out there in the Bay Area, man, trying to uplift these kids, starting from the bottom with the kids and getting them to understand what it is their responsibilities are in society, not just as black people, but just as citizens. It's a big thing, and shout out to her for that. I mentioned the playoff picture already. I talked about KD being back. In the NFL, voluntary workouts are underway, so that's a thing. We got a couple of weeks. We're waiting a couple of weeks for the draft to happen in Philadelphia. Like, I just realized that like last week when the draft was going to be in Philadelphia this year. Anyway, but I mean, really, the only thing that's going on right now in the NFL is like now it's about to be like, oh my God, so and so didn't show up for what? Volunteer practice? That's not a story, Adam Schefter. It's not. Adrian Peterson's on tour. Marshawn Lynch is pretty much, I guess, now serious about the comeback situation. If things don't work out with the Raiders, he's saying I'll take the Patriots. Like, will they take you though, cuz? And second of all, like, what do you mean if things don't work out with the Raiders? Like, smart money don't pay for no old ass running back, man. I don't give a damn if your name is Beast Mode. Smart money don't pay for no old ass running back, especially when a dude like Joe Mixon is sitting there, he's probably gonna go and I don't know, he's been climbing up draft boards, but let's say Joe Mixon's around like the third round. Like, what you gonna do? I mean, yeah, he punched that broad, but damn, that dude 220 pounds and rocked up and can run the hell out of the football. Like, what you want me to do? I gotta draft him, don't I? This foolishness that was going on. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get drafted. Yeah, I would be. NFL don't care about this stuff. NFL don't give a damn about women. All them bullcrap commercials about, oh, I'm tired. Oh, get the hell out of it. You don't care. You don't care. You know what I mean? You care about the product on the field and the perception that you care about women. You don't. Again, Javon Belcher. I'll just say that name and leave it there. Other thing that happened in the NFL here in the city of Atlanta, the Truth, Desmond Trufant got a 5-year extension worth a total of $68.75 million. No telling how much of that he'll actually see, but yeah, it's a nice gesture. The next thing out there, man, is that dude, Devontae Freeman. Of course, they got Tevin, I was about to call that dude Tevin Campbell, Tevin Coleman in the backfield. Remember, Devontae Freeman is a holdover from the Mike Smith era. Tevin Coleman is their guy. They actually wanted Tevin Coleman to start last year until he got hurt. Not last year, before last, until he got hurt. And Devontae Freeman was like, I'm not going back to Dade County. He came back and started running his ass off, and then you couldn't get him off the field. So then they had a perfect situation with the split backfield. Here's something for you guys. Hell yeah. Janet Jackson's back on the market, y'all. And she's a MILF, too. Yeah, she's MILFified. I don't know, man. What's Janet Jackson rocking like now? She apparently... there's apparently like a 5-year prenup. Like, she had to stay with the dude for 5 years, and and if they got divorced after 5 years, she got $500 million. I don't know how true that is. I saw it on Facebook, so I mean, of course, it has to be true if it's on Facebook. But no, she's actually getting divorced. I just don't know about the prenup thing. But anyway, they've been together for 5 years and 22 days. I can't even be mad, dude. You know, it's like, I'm not the dude to knock nobody's hustle, man, because if I ever get, like, reincarnated and I come back as Janet Jackson, I'm going to pull the same deal. I'm going to pull the same deal like Mariah Carey pulled. Like, who cares, man? If, like, all this, like, stuff about people, like, women shaming other women, like, look, man, if you got it and there's a price on it and you willing to, and somebody's willing to pay the freight, ride out. You know? Like, I don't know, how old is everybody in the chat room? Like Reggie and Nodo, how old are you guys? I'm 40, so I remember the days like in 7th grade. Like Janet Jackson was like a hot topic of like the most ridiculous things. Or like we talk about like sexual stuff. Like, would you bang Janet Jackson, full blown AIDS, raw dog, for $1 million? I mean, like stupid stuff. That's when you thought like AIDS meant you was gonna die too, by the way. Like the 80s when AIDS was like really popping and cats was like falling off right in love. Like that was a real like thing that we would say to each other, like to see how fine you thought Janet Jackson was. Yeah. If you're listening, I guess the equation, I don't know, was Janet Jackson more Rihanna or Beyonce? You know what I mean? Like Janet Jackson she was our thing, man. As kids, like she was the one. Like you know, yeah. I was gonna get kind of graphic there, but I held back on it. Myles Garrett, the presumed number 1 overall pick, he decided to skip Mike and Mike this morning, which I skip it every morning. I don't blame him. But the reason he did is because he didn't want to mess with Booger McFarland. Apparently, Booger McFarland had some ridiculous stuff to say about the kid, and he didn't want to mess with him. And like I forgot, I think it was Michael and Jamel talking about like, oh, that's a bad look. You got to face the music. Whatever, dude. That dude don't owe Booger McFarland. He's a grown man named Booger. You don't owe him nothing. If he don't want to deal with him, he don't have to. And salute my dude. Like, I get tired of people thinking like because these dudes are coming out of college that they can just like, you're supposed to do this. This is the way you're supposed to act. Damn that. Like, Von Miller sued the NFL when he was still in college. Remember? They was going through the lockout situation, and Drew Brees and them cats filed a lawsuit against the NFL, and the one college player that joined it, a dude named Von Miller. Yep. Yeah, I like stuff like that. People who was like, damn you, I'm going to do what I want to do. Just, man, Myles Garrett is a monster. And whatever team he goes to, I think he's going to be a monster. I don't know this, of course, because there's a lot of factors involved. But I look at him and I see Mario Williams. Now, Mario Williams is on the backside of his career right now. But if you guys remember, when the Houston Texans drafted Mario Williams first overall, that was off of the same type of combine performance, except for Mario Williams was like he was like 300 pounds. They say 298, but really, we're talking about a hamburger. He eats a burger. He's 300 pounds. The dude ran 4'6". It was one of the most ridiculously freaky things I've ever seen with my own eyes athletically, and I'm not being hyperbolic in not one way. I think Vernon Davis was in that same draft. It was like just ridiculous. Was Antonio Cromartie in that draft too? It was like this whole ridiculous like dudes that was running fast and benching 1,000,000 pounds and jumping high. But anyway, they took him because he was the most can't miss guy. And the other guys that were on the table, Reggie Bush was there. Like Vince Young was the hometown kid. It was Matt Leinart was there. You remember that draft? And if you look back on what it ended up being, Houston hit it. You know, a couple years later, they went back and drafted a dude named J.J. Watt, which made, of course, Mario Williams expendable. He ended up being in Buffalo and then so forth and so on. But like Myles Garrett seems to be that same type of player. Like you're not going to miss. He's going to learn the NFL game from a pass rushing standpoint, and because of his physical tools, become a monster. We saw it this past year with Jadeveon Clowney. Took him a little bit of time, get healthy, and then learn the game NFL style. But once he did, it was like, all right, what the hell are you going to do with this dude now? You know what I mean? Like how and what to do with him. I feel the same way about Myles Garrett. This is why, like the reports I saw today about the Cleveland Browns considering Leonard Fournette at number 1. The only thing I thought was like they're going to ruin this dude's career. They're going to Todd Gurley him. I'm going to call that from here on, from henceforth. Bad teams drafting top running backs early, it would be considered Todd Gurleying them. The same way the Rams, that just made me think of something. The same way the Rams did Todd Gurley. Speaking of the Rams, I read today, man, friend of the show, my man, Rand Carthon. You guys remember he came on the show and was talking to us. He was the pro personnel director for the LA Rams. They gave him the axe today. They gave my man the boot today. I don't know when the proper time would be to reach out to him. You know, I mean, he's a friend of the show, but we not necessarily friends. He did say he would come back on the show and talk some football with me, but I'm not sure when the best time would be. I definitely want to have him on like around draft time now, but you know, I don't want to be like that guy. Like, well, since you ain't doing nothing, how about come on the show? I don't want to do that. I'll figure it out though, you know. But shout out to him, man. He got, you know, the NFL machine ate him up. You know, they got a brand new young coach up there, and I was wondering like if it was going to be that type of deal. And I thought he might have been safe because the GM that he's been with since he was here in Atlanta, Les Snead, I thought he was going to be safe. It was him and like three other scouts. I wonder if they was all bruhs too. Now I think about that. I'm going to look these other three dudes up and see if they was all bruhs. Or even if they was like, three of them was bruhs and one of them was a white boy, because you know sometimes they got to just throw a white boy in there to kind of like throw the scent off. Check on that, man. That's foul business, man. I think that's it. Oh, a couple other things real quick and I'm going to get up out of here. One, apparently today is National Sibling Day. My sister texted me today talking about Happy Sibling Day, and I texted her back like, that's not a thing. That can't be a thing. She's like, apparently it is. I was like, nah. I ain't even reply. I wasn't even like same to you. I wasn't even finna indulge in that foolishness. Sibling Day, like everything can't have a day, man. Like that is the, like things like that become the pinnacle of greed in this country. You know how lucrative the greeting card business is at $2 and $4 and $5 a piece. Secret. Go to Family Dollar and get your greeting cards, man. They all $1. And they like the real ones too. They ain't like the ones with like 2 words inside. You gotta like write a whole paragraph yourself. No, they like legitimate, greeting cards. I'm looking at one right now. I just got from my wife yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was the anniversary, and I didn't forget. I think she forgot too. I'm gonna just keep that in the back pocket though for when I need it. You know what I mean? And finally, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about today: Netflix. If you got Netflix, you probably got a bunch of family members on your Netflix account, right? But not apparently, well, they say it's cool. The Netflix people, they say it's cool, which is weird to me. And I think it's only cool because they hadn't found a way to like block it from happening. Like the minute they find that, you're going to find like how to block it. You're going to figure out how cool it is with people. So apparently this thing, they got some stats on college students stealing Netflix accounts. A survey by Lend.edu showed that 92% of college students have access to a Netflix and use it regularly. However, only 34% of college students are actually paying for their own Netflix account. So that means that the students are stealing the passwords from their ex, maybe, mooching off their parents, or borrowing, quote unquote, their friend's account. To make things worse, almost 40% of teens watch Netflix every day. You know when I watch Netflix? Like when the PayPal go off, like you just paid, I think it's at $10 now. Like Netflix used to be like $6. You just paid $10 to Netflix. I was like, damn. Now I have to watch it because I'm paying for it. Like that's just a reminder that I'm paying for it. So now I got to find some crap on Netflix to watch. I still haven't watched like Burning Sands. I haven't even watched Luke Cage, by the way. For whatever reason, I haven't. I'm not a big comic book guy. My sister used to collect comic books when we was kids, but I've just never been a comic book guy. So anyway, here's the part that they say is cool. Netflix CEO Reed Hastings said he's down with the password sharing, and it's something you have to learn to live with. Quote, as long as they aren't selling them, members can use passwords however they please. Oh, really, Reed? Yeah, I smell BS. They working on algorithms right now where you can only use it at your own crib or like certain IP addresses associated with tablets or phones or something. Yeah, you wait, dude. Yeah, they about to cut that whole system short. Netflix is hoping, this is their hope, like dope dealers. They're hoping that the younger users are borrowing the passwords now. So when they have, now that they have no money, then when they become adults with their own money, they will open their own accounts and pay for them. Yeah, here's the thing. I really ain't in the mindset of paying for something that I'm already getting for free. Yeah, it's like being married. No, it's not. It's not like that. Anyway, man, let me get my ass out of here, man. There's girls basketball on my television. Yeah, we got to fix that here in just a second. We got to do something. We got to be better than that. All right. That's going to do it, man. The One Mike with Big Mike show Monday. We'll come back on Wednesday. I got my man Steve Silver. At least Steve Silver. Maybe somebody else will join me as well on Wednesday. Steve is from legalblitz.com. One of the smartest dudes to ever grace this show with his presence, so I appreciate him. So we'll talk to him about a bunch of legal stuff, legal mumbo jumbo that's going on in the world of sports. Appreciate it. My man Reg holding me down. Big L. I am No Doze. This cat's name Barrett, and the other cat on Facebook here, Scotty. Appreciate you guys checking in. Everybody else who checked in, watched the Facebook stream. The numbers look kind of nice. The Spreaker numbers look kind of nice. So I appreciate y'all checking your man out. Don't forget, it's also available if you miss it. Spreaker app, tune in, onemicwithbigmike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course YouTube. Like the Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, same handle, and make sure if you want to win one of these brand new era or Mitchell & Ness Hawks snapback hats, you send me a DM with hashtag Big Mike's Brims. That's going to do it, man. I'll see you guys Hump Day, also Women Crush Wednesday right around the corner. Make sure you guys come back. Join me. Hang out. Let's have some fun. See you guys then.